All right, this is Jarrett Struby with our consultancy trio. So a little bit of background. I teach physics and chemistry in high school in Kansas City, Kansas. We are a Title I school. We are about 14% ELL. We are high poverty, high free reduced lunch. Um, our average ACT is about a 13 with our juniors. Um, the thing that I'm focusing on for this is that our graduation rate is about 65%. When you look at from freshman year to when they're supposed to graduate. Um, our school is slightly unique in our district is unique in that we only allow 4 years, so we don't have any fifth year seniors. If they have to go for a fifth year, we have alternative programs outside of our main high schools for them to complete, uh, reach 500 or uh, some other program, which basically is kind of like basically they get kind of their GAD or finish up the one or two or however many credits they need to finish up. So those are kind of the facts. Our desired outcome would be how can we get more of our students passing their classes and getting to graduation on time.
Okay, so then you got some clarifying questions here now, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious. You said about 11% ELL, right?
Yeah, 11-14%.
11, 14%.
And rising yearly.
Gotcha.
It
So
was
what
5 years ago. It was about 7%. So it's doubled
right?
in 5 years.
What percentage would you say overall? I mean, if you don't have this number, that's fine. If you have a what about sped? Like just in general, sped.
SPED tends to be about 25-30%, depending on the school. Our school, I think, was about 25% of our students are receiving SPED services.
Okay, and overall, are you one of the schools that like I know some schools have moved towards we have moved towards this of you pay for like everyone to take the ACT, and so that data some people look at that as a negative. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
if you've got every single special education student who some of them may never go to college, that affects your numbers roughly. Is that an issue for you guys?
Yes. The new thing this year is I believe that went statewide. The state's paying for all juniors to take the ACT. So
Yeah,
I think next year we'll have, I think the comparison numbers between us and everyone else uh, might not be as um, disheartening as it usually has been. Because I think the state average traditionally is about 21, and our average is 13.
so just my last clarifying question here. I should have asked you this, not the other way. So we we make all of our kids take the ACT. Now the state they said they pay for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but like some school districts don't make everyone. Do you guys make everyone take it?
We make everyone take it.
Okay.
We have some exceptions for like first year ELL. Uh, they just came to the country. They literally speak no English.
Yeah.
And maybe some, and we have exemption for our life skills students.
Gotcha. Okay. It would be interesting to see the data once other districts show like who forces and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
The comparison there, you know. Okay, I'm good on mine. Thank you.
Jarrett, what was your essential question again?
How can we begin to get students um, to graduation? Um, I guess, if I had to put a number on it, going from, because right now we're at about 65, if we could get that closer to the state average of about 75, 80.
Okay. Curious, what's your attendance like? Do you guys have really poor attendance?
We do have high truancy, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what we've been dealing with in my school, and that just seems to really affect, tardies and attendance, and just to be, completely committed seems to affect ours as far as I've been trying to correlate some data from our school using some of the demographics like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our absenteeism is about 65%.
Oh, geez. Okay.
That's from the data from last year.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jarrett, what kind of help would you like? What kind of help are you looking for?
I guess I would like. What are some strategies that I could bring back to my building to help get those students with those high absenteeism re-engaged? Because we have a lot of students not going to class. We have a lot of students skipping, just not doing work. How can we get our students back and motivated in the classroom?
So
which I know is a big question.
Sorry, say that again.
Which I recognize is a pretty big question.
Yeah, I actually have written down here because I wasn't sure if I would be talking about some certain things in mind, but I heard this quote from a speaker a couple weeks ago. Said, "Do not overdiagnose lack of motivation," and it was a really interesting thought because I think you hear a lot of teachers say, "Oh, they're just not motivated," and I mean, really, a lot of them are not. But like, really, what is the question is like, why are they not? What is causing that? And in my position specifically, I work with kids. I got you. I have much less students, but what I'm in right now, high truancy, a lot of tardies, all those things. And the way that we've worked to reduce that, and what's difficult on the gen ed side is your numbers are higher, is just kind of the theme of focus on the person, not the behavior. And so and that's just like that relationship, social, emotional building. I know some teachers that we've had in the past that have had the issues. They start to make home visits. Some districts don't allow that. They're just like, it's taboo. They start to make home visits. They start to offer more times outside of school for families to come in outside of parent-teacher conferences and more focusing on the relationships of those things and less on, hey, here's the homework that you're missing because you've been gone. It's more about like, hey, man, what? I would love to have you here. How can I help you get here? Because we need you here. This is good for you. I know that sounds like the kumbaya answer, but quite truly, I believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had it written down here, kind of piggyback off of what he said, but parent engagement. If we, as far as our community is concerned, it seems like the parents are the ones that are, in our case, that are allowing their kids to. It's not that our kids are, skipping school, but it's the parents that are kind of making excuses for the kids to do it. So, we need to be better at our school, trying to engage the parents better and get them more bought into the school to help them get their kids the same way. And then providing a place where those students they're getting something at school that they really need that they're not getting at home. So to make foster that atmosphere in school, whether it's that relationship, which it will be to a point, and then maybe it's a little discipline too. Being a little bit more strict in class and not letting everything slide. Like obviously, it could be at home too. So just a little bit more structure.
That's fair. About 75% of our faculty is within 3 years of experience.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
So you're saying a lot of young people, or a lot of people.
We have a lot of new teachers.
Yeah, and that can be tough because, especially if your turnover rate is high with those new teachers, consistency within programs can always be difficult. So just to paraphrase, kind of keep us moving here to ensure the understanding of your help that's needed. You're looking for ways to try and essentially and go back to what we said, and I'll just the root of the motivation. What can we do to motivate them to be here? Because most of them do want to be here, but there's something missing. That is either it's home or whatever. And I think the better relationships you create with those kids, like you could be that teacher that, and we've all known that teacher that like the kid says that class, that's the reason I come here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yep.
I guess a better way of putting it instead of engagement, I mean instead of motivation would be engagement. Going back to your
Okay.
your quote, I think maybe phrasing it, thinking of it in engagement. That's a way I can go forward.
How big are your classes?
It varies, but generally it's about 25, 30 students in a class. We're a school of about 1,100 students.
Okay.
I think we have about 85 faculty members.
Those are big classes, man.
Those are big classes.
You know, I mean, with the engagement piece, kind of switching the mentality on that a little bit to engagement of, I think about, you know, there's a few kids I feel in most classes that I go into that if you can get them, it's like, it's kind of like you get that gang mentality a little bit. And there's going to be those kids that are the class clowns, the kids that, and quite honestly, that drive us freaking nuts. That it's like, I don't want to work with that kid. But if you can get that kid on board, there's so many kids that follow, because so many kids that are class clowns are leaders at heart. They just don't know it. Mm-hmm. And if you get them to jump on board, that might be a way to get more engagement, is to really focus on those ones who are the distractions and bring them on board somehow, you know. And other kids may see that and appreciate it, you know.
Right. And
are we on to Jared? Are we on to where you need to share what's most helpful here?
Yeah,
or what's most helpful?
I think just thinking about those relationships, thinking about kind of how we approach the kids. I think that's been really helpful. And kind of reframing it in engagement instead of not looking at motivation. I think that was probably the biggest breakthrough here for me. All right, so I think that about wraps us up here. So thanks, guys.